Let's get it. Shalom to everybody. Shalom. Hit the like button as you come in. Hit the like button as you come in. All right. We're going to let some people join in, and we're going to get started with this lesson.
Yeah.
Shalom, shalom, everybody. Hit the like button as you come in. We about to get started shortly. Check out the title, Biblical Understanding, Lake versus Hell, or Hell versus Lake of Fire. All right. Let's get it. Hit the like button, y'all. Appreciate everybody coming in. All praises to the Most High. Shalom. Uriah. Shalom, King. All right, man. We got people tuning in. I appreciate everybody tuning in. First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh, by Hashem, Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ in the Hebrew. It says Hezekiah, and I have Captain Debar with me, and we're gonna be diving in this lesson through the Spirit, man, and hoping everybody be edified. If y'all would like, man, take notes, and if y'all got precepts, put them in the comment section. We'll put them on the screen. We appreciate everybody's participation, and we're gonna jump in it. All right, so biblical understanding, hell versus lake of fire. So we're gonna start off with some definitions first. All right, let's get the definition for sheol. Right,
God.
sheol.
Let me share my screen right quick.
Kind of. We're gonna be getting the definition for sheol first. All right.
Salakia. All right, God.
All right.
Strong's H 7585. Sheol. Sheol. And
Right.
second entry. Sheol. Sheol.
Kind. So it says here the outline Bible usage. It says sheol, underworld, grave, hell, pit. Right. So this is what is used. Sheol for underworld, grave, hell, pit. The underworld, sheol, the OT destination for the abode of the dead, place of no return, without praise of God, wicked sent there for punishment, righteous not abandoned to it, of the place of exile, of extreme degeneration in sin. Right. So all these words and all these are different meanings for the word sheol. Right. Now I want you to look at where it says here, and it says in line, the first line, right? It says underworld. I want you to harp on grave, right? Harp on grave. Keep that in mind, that the grave is also called sheol, and also pit, right? Now go down to where the Roman numeral 3 is on B. It says wicked sent there for punishment. Okay, so this is a place where the wicked is sent for punishment. All right, I want y'all to keep in mind what happened to the Israelites, but we're gonna move on. Let's go to 5. Go down right there. It says of the place of exile. Keep that in mind, right? So let's get Hades now. Read that out.
God, it says, and this is Google Hades, KJV. It says there seems to be no difference between the biblical Gehenna and the biblical Hades. Gehenna is the Hebrew word for hell, and Hades is the Greek word for hell. The KJV, being a translation, translated both words for hell as hell. All right, now let me go over here. There you go.
God. So as we see the word what? Hades. Right?
Give me click the pronunciation.
You can.
God.
Strong's G86. Hades. Hades. Thayer's Lexicon. Hades. Hades.
Kind. If you could read those outline Bible usage,
God, it says, name Hades, Hades, or Pluto, the god of the lower regions, Orcus, the netherworld, the realm of the dead. Later use of this word, the grave, death, and hell.
Kind. So the same word can be used for grave, right? And hell is the same word for sheol. As you see, grave and hell. Okay? So we want to point these two out, man. We want to point them out. All right. So now let's go to where should we go first? Let's go to Matthew 12. We'll start there first.
God. God, so this is the book of Matthew chapter 12, and we're going to start at 38. Matthew 12 and 38, it says, then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Right. So right here we see red letters, right? In verse 40, Yahushua refers to him, what happened to him in his condition. It says, for as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. Right? So when he's talking about the heart of the earth and the belly, he's giving a comparison. And I want everybody to keep that in mind. Right? Let's go to the Jonah account.
God, this is Jonah chapter 1, verse 17. Jonah 1 and 17. It says, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
Now, who did?
The Lord.
The Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. The Lord did it. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Read on, verse 2, chapter 2.
God, then chapter 2, verse 1. Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice.
Right. Jonah chapter 1 verse 17 said, now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. Right? And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Then it goes on to say in chapter 2, then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly. So Jonah is in the fish's belly. Chapter 2, let's read. And said, I cried by reason of my affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me out of the belly of hell. So why is Jonah referring to the fish's belly as the belly of hell? Right? Let's get that word for hell out of Jonah chapter 2 verse 2.
God. God, this is Jonah 2:2. God.
All right, so this is Jonah chapter 2, and we see it says what? The same thing we read earlier. Sheol, underworld, grave, hell, pit, right? But we don't see Jonah going into the underworld. We don't see Jonah going into the grave, right? It said that he was in the belly of hell, or the fish's belly, right? So it says here a place of exile, right? Right? So this is a place of exile that Jonah was sent to, right? He was cast out, and if you read down, verse 3 says, Jonah 2 and 3, for thou hast cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas, right? So he was sent somewhere through the fish's belly. And Jonah referred to that place as the belly of hell, which is the same word for Sheol, right? Not
God.
a fiery place, okay? Right? When he went to hell, he didn't burn in fire. He actually was in a fish's belly that lives in water, okay? So let's get another account, because we see that
Hey,
Christ.
Salakia.
Go ahead, King.
Yeah, can I bring this out right quick?
God.
So look, it says also right here, it says for the strong, it says Sheol. The first one it says Sheol, underworld, grave, hell, and it also says pit. So when you see the word pit, it's also referring to Sheol, which is the grave or hell, which is, when you go into the ground. And it was also a place that was in South Jerusalem. It was called Gehenna, which was hell, where they took dead bodies to go either get them buried, or they would throw them there. So hell is not the lake of fire. You see the lake of fire in the book of Revelation. You see how the lake of fire, like Yahushua mentioned it like 2 or 3 times. But the lake of fire and hell is 2 different things. So I want to get this account in Job, because this is a good example. So this is Job chapter 33 and verse 19. So it says, he chastened also with pain upon his bed, and the multitude of his bones with strong pain. So we know that's a hellish condition. What Job was going through, he's explaining what he was going through. Well, Elihu is explaining what he was going through. But it goes into more. It says, verse 2, so that his life abhorred bread and his soul dainty meats. When you in that hellish condition, when your bones is painful and you sore upon your bed, you don't want to eat nothing, you don't want to drink nothing. It says his flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. That's him going into him being real skinny. So if you go to Job chapter 7 verse 5, it tells you, let me get this right quick, because this happened exactly to Job. That's why he's breaking it down to him like that. Job 7 and 5, this is what Job said. He says, my flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. My skin is broken and become loathsome, which is he hates it. Loth means to hate. This is what Job's saying. He says, my flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. That goes into the pus that comes out of those scabs, because it tells you also that Job took a metal scraper, and he would scrape the scabs off of him, scrape the pus off of him that dried up. So going back to Job 33, it says his flesh is consumed away, that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. It says, yeah, his soul drive near unto the grave, and his life to the destroyers. If there be a messenger with him, it's talking about an angel. It says, an interpreter, one among 1,000, to shew unto man his uprightness, as in seeing a ransom for him, seeing if there's any good in this man. It says he is gracious unto him, and said, deliver him from going down to the pit. So when you look at Sheol, underworld, grave, hell, and pit, in this context, we see grave and we see pit. So it says, then he is gracious unto him, and saith, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be fresher than a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. So there's a way to come out of hell. But in a lake of fire, there ain't no way to come out of that. So you would have to give a biblical answer for the word when it talks about grave, hell, and pit in the scriptures versus the lake of fire. But that's all I was trying to bring out, though.
Beautiful point. And as we see that the condition that our brother Job was going through, which was a hellish condition, right? So there wasn't. This is the things that we can attest to when it said that hell was a place of exile, right? Or it says, oh, the wicked sent there to be punished. Now this is we were exiled to the four corners of the earth, right? For what? For the wicked to be punished. So we are in hell right now. Okay, what we can see in the Bible, being in the land of your captivity is hell. Seeing homosexuality, lesbianism, people eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, committing adultery. This should make you look at life different and say, yeah, this is hell. Okay, it couldn't get any worse than this, the lake of fire, right? But let's move on. Let's go to Acts chapter 2, verse 31, because I wanted to point out the comparison between why did Yahushai refer to Jonah and his incident. Jonah being in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights, and Hamashiach Yahushai going into the grave for 3 days and 3 nights. Right?
God. So this is Acts chapter 2 and 29. It says, men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried. And his
right. So it says that Christ is dead and buried. Keep that in mind. Read on.
God. It says, and his sepulcher is with us unto this day.
That's the sepulcher is a place where Christ was put after he was killed, right? Go ahead.
That's where we all put. It says, Salakia, it says, verse 30, therefore being a prophet and knowing that God has sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Yahushua, Hamashiach, it says Hamashiach, to sit on his throne. He seeing this before spake of the resurrection of Hamashiach, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption.
Okay, why does it say that Christ's soul was not left in hell? Neither, right? It says neither, Salakia, neither his flesh did see corruption, right? Why does it say that? Huh? Somebody put the answer in the chat. Why does it say that his soul was not left in hell, right? And it says neither his flesh did see corruption. So, hold on. Was not left in hell. So you telling me Christ was in hell at one point, right? According to the scripture, right? Let's see if we got some answers. Raised from hell. Right. I would agree that Christ was raised from hell. And let's give the other understanding real quick. Let's go back up to verse 29 real quick. Read 29 again.
God, verse 29. Men and brethren.
When we get to the point, Salakia King, when we get to the point, just point the words out on the screen, okay?
God. Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulcher is with us unto this day.
It says that he is both dead and buried. When you're buried, where do you go? What do we call it? Do we not call it the grave? Do we not call it the grave? Right? We call it the grave. Put that on the screen verse on the Bible usage. Grave. Right? So it says grave right there. So right here it says that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulcher is with us unto this day. Right? Now in verse 31, it says he's seeing this before spake of the resurrection of Christ, that his soul was not left in hell, neither his flesh did see corruption. Why was his soul not left in hell? Because Christ was resurrected on the third day, right? He was resurrected. So his soul, what happened? Went back to the Father, as it does in Ecclesiastes 12, right? It goes back to the Father, and neither his flesh did see corruption. Christ left with the body, right? It didn't corrupt, it didn't decay in the sepulcher. Okay? It's clear as day. Christ went to the grave, but was risen. Christ went to hell, which is the grave, but he was risen, right? And when we go back to Matthew chapter 12, let's do that one more time.
Okay. It's the book of Matthew.
So like you, King.
Matthew chapter 12, verse 38. It says, Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Now watch this. We showed at the beginning of the live, it showed that the word for sheol, and we showed the Blue Letter Bible definition. Then we went to the word Hades in the New Testament, and in both definitions it had grave in it, right? Here in verse 40, Matthew 12 and 40, Christ is referring to the same way Jonah was in the whale's belly, and it said that Jonah was in hell. It says the same thing about Christ when he went to hell, when he went to the grave. So we see the comparison, y'all. Neither did Jonah go into a burning place, neither did Christ go into a burning place. And they both referred to what? Hell being the grave, right? Hell being the grave. Hell being afflicted condition that you're in, right? Like Jonah was in. Jonah was being afflicted by the Most High, right? Let me read some of these questions. Donnie Stone, he says he went back to heaven. Let's get that real quick. Let's see here. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 8, Bobby Kasha. Let's answer that question. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 8. That's a good question, Donnie.
You said Ephesians 4 and 8, right?
Kind.
It says, Wherefore he said, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave gifts unto man. Now that he is ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth?
So you see, he descended in the lower parts of the earth, which was the grave, before he ever ascended into the heavens. Read that part again,
God. It says, he that descended is the same also that ascended up.
Verse 9, Salakia, King. Verse 9.
It says, now that he ascended, what is it but that he also descended first into the lower parts of the earth?
Right, so Christ went down into the lower parts of the earth before he ascended, right? Meaning he went up, right? Go ahead.
And it says, he that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens, that he might fill all things.
So I hope that answered your question, man. He ascended into the heavens, but first he descended into the grave, descended into the grave. All right, you got something you want to bring out,
So I got a precept. I want to go to Psalms 9 and 17. I actually got two. So this is Psalms 19 and 7. I started 16. It says the Lord is known. Yeah, Psalms 9 and 16. Salakia.
All right, let me get there real quick. Psalms 9.
Hey, can you give me a precept though?
I can do that.
2 Samuel 22 and 6.
All right, I can do that.
So it says, the Lord is known by the judgment which he executed. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higayah, Salah. It says the wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. So turned into hell, as in going into a hellish condition, as in it tells you in Isaiah that there is no peace to the wicked, said the Lord. So that no peace goes into you being in a hellish condition, you being in a condition, hey, like how the Israelites live today. We're in this condition because, hey, we forgot God at the end of the day. We forsook the fountain of wisdom, which goes into the Most High God. So what? We was turned into hell. Our heavens was made iron, and the beneath us was made brass. That goes into us being in a hellish condition. We was turned into hell. Now, read that.
You want 2 Samuel 22:6, Kai?
22 and 6, Con.
Kai, this is the book of 2 Samuel 22, verse 6. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me.
Right. So, hey, it's giving you an example on what hell can be. It says the sorrows of hell compassed him. So he's giving you an example of what hell is. It's talking about afflictions, atrocity. That is hellish conditions. And don't nobody know that condition like the Israelites. So hell as in a hellish condition, or hell as in Sheol, the grave. Now we put the hellish conditions into play, just like we the ones who come up with ebonics. We come up with certain things, like we came up with param. We come up with these things, and it's not like it's against the law. We're not making it we're not saying that this is part of the law or anything like that. But we're proving a point by labeling the conditions that we go through to hell, man. Because some people would rather be dead than to actually deal with those hellish conditions. But that's all.
Right. All right, Kai. In which both of them, when you're dead, you're in the grave, so you're still in hell. Either way, you just left a condition and you just went to the grave. So it's no escaping it, y'all. Let's go here real quick. Let's see. All right, so we brought out Matthew's, right? Kai, let's go to Psalms 86, verse 13. Psalms 86 and 13.
God, this is Psalms chapter 86 and 13. Psalms 86, 13. It says, "For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell."
Right. Deliver his soul from where? The lowest hell. Right? Read it again.
God, it says, "For thou art great," Salakia. Salakia, 13. "For great is thy mercy towards me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell."
He said, "Great is thy mercy towards me, and have delivered my soul from the lowest hell." How did he do that? Through the mercy that the Most High has for us. Let's go to Baruch chapter 4.
God. Salakia.
Yo, shalom to everybody in the chat. Shalom Gabriel, shalom Donnie Stone, shalom Silas, shalom Israel Grace, Jeremiah shalom, Yedidiah shalom, and everybody else that's watching, shalom to y'all. Peace and blessings unto y'all.
God. Baruch 4 and what?
We can start at verse 1.
God, it says, Baruch 4 and 1. It says, verse 1, "This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endured forever."
Right.
All they
So
that God.
it's the book of the commandments of God and the law that endure forever, right? And it talked
God.
about earlier. Let's see if I can still read this off the screen. It says, of extreme degradation and sin, right? So if you're not keeping the law, man, you're in the disgrace, man, in the midst of sin, right? And that's what hell, right? So keep on reading Oxalakia.
It says, "In the law that endured forever, all they that keep it shall come to life, but
It
such as
says,
leave it shall die."
it says, all that keep it shall come to life, right? And if you don't, you die. So, and when we read that in Psalms 86, right? He was talking about the Most High giving him structure, giving him law, statutes, and commandments, man, giving him life, right? Because that's what the Most High did. He gave us life. All right. When we follow after the Most High, it keeps us from what? Hell, right? It keeps us from, when I say hell, going into the condition that we are being put in, right? All our bodies are going to go to the grave. Okay. Let's get there real quick in Ecclesiastes chapter 12. I believe it's verse 7.
Got it.
I believe it's verse 7, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
God, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, it says, then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it.
Right. So the body is going to go back to the dust. The dust is going to go back to the earth that gave it, right? And the spirit is going to go back to the Most High, right? And that's how I know the Bible works. I know how the Most High works, right? We put our trust in Him. If He said that's how it goes, that's what it is, right? And now we're going to go into the latter parts of the lesson, the judgment, right? So you wanted to bring out something in Second Ezra, didn't you?
Kind. I want to bring out this book first.
Kind. That's okay. Yeah, let's bring that out real quick.
All right, kind. So this is the this book is the devastation of the native Indies. I know it's a common book in the nation of Israel. We all read this book, but in page 45, it tells you where the hell doctrine came up, where it talks about where they tried to label hell as in the lake of fire. They tried to put the two together. But this is the page 45. It says the cacique who had never heard any of this before. They're talking about the Christian faith. It says and was told he would go to inferno, and we know inferno is a blazing fire. It says inferno, where if he did not adopt the Christian faith, this is what the conquistadors, this is what the French, the Spanish, this is what they was telling the natives when they came over here. If you don't adopt the Christian faith, you're going to burn in hell. So this is where they got this from. It says if they did not adopt the Christian faith, he will suffer eternal torment. So that's where you get, and that they still use today, hell. But they know it's the lake of fire. They're doing that as a confusion, and they used to do that also on the plantations. They used to tell us, if you don't obey your slave master, then you're gonna suffer for it in hell. You're gonna burn forever in hell.
Ah, beautiful point. Beautiful point.
All right, so I do got a scripture though.
Yeah, bring
because
them out.
it's not like they all the way off. It's just how they was putting it. The Christian church, it's a couple of things that they do teach that's on point. But there's
Right.
many different things that's off, man. All right, so this is Revelation 21 and 7.
You want me to read it, or I can read it for you.
It's 21 and 7. So this is mainly the only time that you hear about the lake of fire is in the book of Revelation. You don't really hear about the lake of fire in other books except Revelation, right? Everything else you see is hell. You see how, like I said, you see hellish out here mention it once or twice. Talk about everlasting fire, or but the lake of fire is actually mentioned, and how you can go in there is actually mentioned in the book of Revelation, the last judgment, the ultimate judgment. So this proves nobody's in the lake of fire as of now. So that's something that we can slice right now. When you die, you do not go up there and get judged to see if you're going into the lake of fire or not. That's at the end. Also, everybody's going to be raised up at the end. That's coming from the grave, and see if they're going into the lake of fire, judged according to their works. But if you got that, you can bring it out.
Salaki, you said Revelations 21:7. I don't think that's what you want.
Yeah, it is.
This is Revelations 21 verse 7. It says, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my son."
Hey, and it sounds easy. Hey, only thing I do is do what the Most High say. Overcome. Right? Go ahead though.
Kind. Verse 8. "But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
So this is the lake of fire. This is what's contrary to what they call hell. It says lake of fire right here. So when we say that this is talking about hell, that's where you begin to add and take away from the word. Because it says lake of fire. It don't tell you to call it nothing else. It says it's the lake of fire. So it says, but the fearful, you being a fearful man, it tells you that in Sirach 2, hey, the Most High is not going to defend you. It says, and unbelieving. So all the ones that you see that do not believe in this truth, hey, guess where they going? They're going in the lake of fire, man. They're going to go in hell. They're going to go to hell first, and then they're going to be brought out of hell, and they're going to see if they're going in the lake of fire, which it tells you right here. If you are unbelieving soul, you're going in the lake of fire, because that is a slap in the face to the Most High, man. He is the almighty power. You got to know that there's a God, man, and he wants you to worship him. If not, this is the second death for you, right? But that's all I got for now, though. If you want to go somewhere else, I do got that second Ezra's, though.
You want to go into Revelations, or you want to get second Ezra's first?
Yeah, I get second Ezra's first, then you can go into that.
All right, All
right, so this is second Ezra's chapter 2, and this is just a precept to prove hell, right? So this is second Ezra's chapter 2 and 26. It says, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. So this is all the people that's saying that there's no 2/3 doctrine. What number is he talking about then? That's when we go back to Zechariah 13 and 8 and prove that 2/3 has to be eradicated off the earth, man, of the Israelites, right? Because they refuse to come back to the Most High. So he's going to require 1/3 from among the 2/3. It says, be not weary, for when the day of heavy trouble and heaviness cometh. That's talking about hellish conditions. It says, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. It says, the heathen shall envy thee. They're going to envy us. They're going to want what we have in that day, because it's going to seem like, some of us are not going through anything. That's what's going to make them envy us, or that they're going to realize that we are God's chosen people. It's going to make them envy us. But it says, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, said the Lord. So that's a key point, that they ain't going to be able to do nothing. But it says, my hands shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. So we know, hey, it's not talking about the lake of fire hell, because why would the Most High said his hand, which is talking about his holy angels, are going to cover you, which is protect you, have charge over you, so that your children will not see hell, the grave, or it's talking about a hellish condition because of what the heathens plan to do to us. Like it talks about in verse 28, they're going to envy us, but they shall not be able to do nothing against us. They want to put even more hell on us, starting with, the FEMA camps, and how they're going to be trying to do, really trying to put us in sheol, the grave, the pit. Hey, they're going to try to do this, but there's nothing they're going to be able to do. And it tells you he's going to give it says, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell, man. But that's all. All right, so you make it Revelation what?
Let's go to Salakia. Let's go to Revelations 20 and start at verse 9. You want to just
6 first?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, you're right. Let's do that.
All right, Con. So this is Revelation chapter 6 and verse
7.
8. All right, 7. Con. It says, and when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them.
What?
It says, and death and hell followed with him.
So death and hell follow with him. And it says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed with him. Right? So who is this that has death and hell following him? Read on.
God, it says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth.
So not only can you go to hell, but hell can actually follow you, according to the scriptures, right? Not only can you go to hell, but hell can actually follow you, Okay, according to Revelation 6 and verse 8. Okay, so we see it says, in his name that sat up and sat on him was death, and hell followed with him, and power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth. And we explained through the definition of earlier that this is going into what? Affliction. And it says with death, and with death comes what? The grave or the pit, right? So we're showing you that right here is what, when they call hell, it's talking about uh, uh the grave or death or the pit, right? So let's go on to Revelations 14.
Right. So, and another thing too, it says death and hell. So the death is you actually being put to death, you being killed, and hell is the grave that you're going into.
Right.
So Revelations 20 and start at
Let's
11.
go to now let's go to 14. Revelation 14.
Okay. Okay.
I think that's what. Yeah. So lucky. That's not what I want. That might have been 12.
What part are you looking for?
I think it's when you wanted to show where the is ascended up.
Yeah, that's 14.
Okay, that was 14, right?
Yeah, 14, and we're gonna start at 10.
10. Okay. All right.
It says, I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
start at
Tim.
9 just to get the context. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the
Right.
smoke of God.
So I wanted to point out in verse 10, it says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Read on.
God. It says, and the smoke of their tormented ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
Kind. So it says, verse 10, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So people are going to be tormented with fire and brimstone. That's what the Bible says. Let's get another precept on this, right? Fire and brimstone is what's going to be uh, 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 given the judgment. Okay, right? This is the latter judgments. Let's go to Revelations chapter 20.
God. This is Revelation chapter 20 and 11.
Start at 9.
God. Revelation 29. And they went up to the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them.
So it says, fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. It didn't come from the underworld and the earth. Okay, it didn't come from hell, right? It says, in the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Verse 10.
God. It says, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever.
Just like we just read in Revelation chapter 14. It says, where the beast and false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Where are they going to be tormented day and night forever and ever? When they're cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, right? That's where the fire comes in, from the lake of fire. The lake of fire is called fire and brimstone. All right, and that's gonna, what does it say in verse 9? It says, in the beloved city, and fire came down from God. So God is in control of this event. Okay, this fire and brimstone, right? Just like he was in control of what happened to Yahushua, right? Just like he was in control of what happened with Jonah. All right. So this is the difference between the lake of fire and hell. Because here, let's continue to read.
God. It says, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. It says, and I saw the dead and small. I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open. And another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them.
So
And
hold
they
on.
were God.
Death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. Okay, keep that in mind. Right? Read on.
God. It says, Salakia, it says, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the
So
second death.
so it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. Verse 13 said, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. Okay? What is the death and hell? The affliction, the grave. Okay, them being in the grave. All right, just like Yahushua was delivered up. Okay, they have to be delivered up to get judged. And it says, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Now we just read the second death was in Revelations 14, Khan.
God.
In Revelations 14,
And 12.
is it 12?
Yeah, we read 11 and 12.
1 second, that's not what I want though. Uh, that
I
might have
think we
been in,
started at 9.
that might have been in chapter 6 though. That might where I just read that. Hold on. Salakia 6 and 7,
6 and 8.
6 and 8. That's not it either. Salakia.
What are you looking for? Which part?
The second death.
Yeah, that's 14.
That's what I thought. Salakia Israel. 1 second.
Matter of fact, the second death, that's 20 and 14, and I read it in 21 and 8.
That's exactly what I wanted. 21 and 8. Salakia. Um, this is Revelations 21 verse 8. It says, but the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So the second death, when you are unbelieving, abominable, or a murderer, or a whoremonger, or a sorcerer, or idolater, or all liars, you don't go to hell. You go to the lake of fire. Because in here it tells us in Revelations 20 and 14, and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. All right, the second death is the lake of fire, not hell. We got to remember that Christians are saying things, but they are taking it out of context. Okay, the place where you are tormented and burned is in the lake of fire, as it says in verse 20 and 10 in Revelation. It says, and the devil that deceived them were cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beasts and false prophets are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Okay, so we know that this is the place where you go to get tormented. All right, I hope everybody is edified so far. All right, let's
Hey,
see.
it's really
Shalom.
not even, it's not even a deep lesson, man. It really ain't.
No, it's not at all. Shalom to Nazar, Shalom to Israel, Shalom to Shakam, uh, Christina, Shalom, Dennis. Let's see here. Got Marcus in here, Shalom. Everybody that's in here, hit the like button, y'all. Hit that like button. All right. So let's see. So for the most part, man, the place where we go to get judged is the lake of fire. Okay. This is the place, like it says here. It says, and I saw, this is Revelations 20 and 12, and I saw the dead, small and great, standing before God, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which are written in those books. It's like which are written in the books according to their works. So kind. So this is the place, the final place. All right. If your name is not on the book of life, it says that and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Those who will be expecting the second death, they are the unbelieving, the abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, the sorcerers, the idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So I hope everybody get their lives right. Repent to the Most High. All right. Confess your sins to one another. Pray for one another. Right. And Lord willing, man, everybody endure, man, because we need all the 1/3, man, so we can get the hell up out of here. All right. So, Captain, you want to add anything before we close out?
Lie.
Kind, like the captain said, man, Christianity is a hell of a drug. All right. Ask them how that term makes sense. Right. The condition that Christianity puts you in is like you're using drugs. It's not profitable. Just like drugs aren't profitable. Christianity is one hell of a drug, especially when you're being afflicted by, how could I say, psychology and philosophies and madness, man.
Hey, and another thing too is you got to think like when people die, like this is what the Christian church have taught. Everybody, man, you know this dude then killed a couple people. She was probably a thought before she died or whatever, man or woman, but they always say that that person is in a better place, they in heaven. That's what Christianity teaches people. So people are not afraid to die anymore. They don't even consider hell or the lake of fire. It's just nobody's afraid to die because nobody's taught about the lake of fire that's going to happen at the end and you being judged according to the things that you do here on earth. So it's not you being a Christian it's nothing to fear. You don't fear God. Think about going in a lake of fire, man. A lake of water. Think about jumping in a lake. Think about jumping in a pool, but of fire. And we talking about a pool that you can't swim to the brink and pick yourself up and wring your clothes out. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you actually feeling everything, man. All your works. You're going to feel all your works. That's it, though.
Kind, all praises. Nightmare said lava. All right. Anybody got any questions, comments, or concerns concerning the lesson, man?
Hey, that's a
Anybody got
good
any?
point. That lava. That's a good point, man. It's going to be like lava, man.
All right. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
we can do a Q&A right quick if you want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to see. I'm gonna see if anybody got any questions, comments, or concerns. It don't have to necessarily be pertaining to the lesson. We'll do maybe let's see. We'll do a 5-minute Q&A. If anybody got any questions, comments, or concerns.
Or want us to go over a topic, a lesson.
Yeah, if anybody think we should go over a particular topic, let us know. Let's see, man. Any questions? I want to bring out something real quick. Let me see real quick. Since we
Give me 1 second on.
Oh, you all good? Okay, let me see if this is it right here. But this is how stupid the Christians is, y'all. Let me see if this is what I want. Sometimes you just gotta mess around with them. You gotta mess around. All right, so I'm gonna go over here to Acts really quick. I think that's what I want. Yeah, I want to go to Acts. All right, so remember earlier. That's not what I want though. Is it 2? Oh man, I had this scripture.
What you
Where
looking
is it
for?
at?
Out?
I was looking for. Hold on, I don't want to say it because everybody's gonna know what it is. I wanted to show them, but I was gonna show them that the Bible says Yahweh Shai went to hell, but I had another scripture besides Acts.
Revelation 1:18.
Here, bring that out really quick. Let's see if I can pull this up.
John, this is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 18. It says, I am he, this is red letters. I am he that liveth and was dead. And behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and death.
So I know. So like I know it says earlier it was talking about Revelations. I believe that was 7 or 6, right? When it was talking about the pale horse and things of that nature, right? I'm gonna go there really quick. I think that was chapter 6. Okay, kind. All right, once. Oh, I'm in the wrong chapter. Okay, this is Revelations chapter.
All right, while he getting that, I want to answer this brother's question.
So like I was talking, and it's all
Oh,
good.
good.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I forgot I'd be doing that. So in Revelation 6:1, it says, "And I saw the Lamb open one of the seals, and I heard, as it was the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, 'Come and see.'" So we know the Lamb is who? Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shai is in control over these seals that's being opened. And we see in verse 8, it says, "And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat upon him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto him over the four parts of the earth to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth." All right, so now I want you to read Revelations 1:18 again, King.
God, 1:18, it says, I am he that liveth and was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen. And have the keys of hell and of death.
He said he got the keys of hell and death. And right here it says, "And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him." Right? So he got the keys to hell and death. Right? So I want to let everybody know that, man. Hey, Yahweh Shai is in control of a lot of things, man. All right. So Khan, the Water King, we can answer who was that? Gabriel?
Yeah, God.
Khan, let's get that question
That's
answered.
an answer. It don't even need, you not gonna be able to prove it. But the thing is, when you look into the Old Testament and New Testament, the words they change because of it's either Greek or Hebrew. So uh I'm led to believe the reason why, because I asked the same thing, why is not Behemoth and why is it Enoch? Just like Leviathan is mentioned in Second Ezra, but Behemoth is mentioned as Enoch. So it goes into like the translations, like when in the Old Testament it says Isaiah, but in the New Testament it says Esaias, or in the Old Testament it says Elias. I mean Elijah. In the New Testament it says Elijah, Or you got in the Apocrypha, it
Hosea.
says that his name was Jeremy. But in the Old Testament, in the KJV, it says his name was Jeremiah.
Right.
So I say that because it's the translations of it, man.
Kind of like it says OC, but then we know his name is Hosea.
Yeah, kind of. That ain't nothing too deep. But you know exactly who it's talking about though. Enoch. Talking about Behemoth.
Kind. Let's see here. We got any more questions before we close out? All right. All right. I appreciate everybody coming in, man. The water for all the participation. Everybody in the chat. The water to y'all. And with that, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem, or Mashiach, Yahushua, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ. But in the Hebrew, his name is Mashiach Yahushua. I want to say the water to the Akim and Akwaf in the chat. The water to the Akim and Akwaf scattered abroad. And never ever forget, death to America. Shalom, Barakatah, Mashpakah.
Shalom, Barakatah, Mashpakah. One more thing. So I looked up the word Enoch, and it means dedicated. So Behemoth, we would have to look in the blue letter and see what the word Behemoth means. We know Leviathan, it means joined to. So Enoch in the second Ezra, it says what it says, dedicated. Behemoth might be dedicated to the Most High and only him.
Right.
But that's it. Shalom, Barak Mashpakah.
God, all praises.